We're live. We're live. We're live.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Like. Good morning, baby.
Good morning. How are you, sweetheart?
I'm good. I'm good.
We got a good topic today.
Absolutely.
And I don't think we had this topic before on our show.
That would be interesting.
Actually, we did. We talked about leadership when the heat is on before.
Okay.
Today's topic is leadership. Now, just with the word being said, what comes to your mind when we talk about leadership?
Leadership. We're going to discuss it. And I actually included this subtopic, knowing when to follow.
Okay.
But we're going to talk about leadership back in a moment.
Good morning. My name is Brian McNeill.
And I am Lisa Santiago McNeill.
And thank you for joining us on our show, Let's Talk About It. We come to each Monday through Friday right here on the SIBN network, on iHeartRadio, YouTube, TuneIn, as well as Facebook Live. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Like.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us this morning. Like. We appreciate you. Today we got a topic.
We do have a topic, and I think our colors work today too. Your salmon with some kind of blue.
I like it.
I know you like this. Lisa likes this shirt. That's what it is. Or maybe the color does something for her. Maybe I need to start having more things with this color. Anyway, go to comments, please. Leadership. Now, Lisa says she just added a subtitle because I didn't submit a subtitle, but she did add a subtitle. But I think it's interesting. The topic of the show today is leadership.
And the subtitle is knowing when to follow.
Interesting. Okay. We're going to talk about leadership. And I want your thoughts on it too. What do you think about leadership? Now, when I suggested the topic, I was not thinking about knowing when to follow.
Okay.
I know it's okay. Anyway, I was thinking about taking lead over your own life.
Mm-hmm.
Your own life. A lot of people, when they hear the topic of leadership, they're thinking being in control of another group of people, which is a part of leadership.
Mm-hmm.
That's one aspect of leadership.
Yeah.
Leading others, leading a company, leading a church, leading a team. That's the one part of leadership. But I was thinking leadership of your own circumstance, taking lead on your health, for example, taking lead on your finances, for example.
I agree with that, but I think that also requires knowing when to follow.
Flatulate.
Because I think that there are things that we have to recognize within ourselves that we might not have the answers to. Good morning, Sister Barbara. She says, good morning, beautiful people.
Good morning, beautiful Barbara Mosley.
You got to learn how to listen to your doctor. You got to learn how to listen to
knowing when to follow
your coach. You got to learn how to listen to your wife. You got to learn how to listen to your kids. Being empathetic, I think, is an important part of leadership as well.
I think you're right. There's even an adage that says you cannot be a good leader unless you can be a good follower.
I think it's a necessity.
There's a bare necessity?
Yes, maybe a bare necessity. I got something in my eye.
That's me. Anyway, you got me in your eyes. So what do you think about Sister Barbara Mosley when it comes to leadership? Mothers are inherently leaders, whether they like it or not. You are rearing another soul. If you're a mother, you're a leader of the household. Most of the time, the wife/mother is the leader of the household. You know, and I thought about that some more, baby, as I went to the store this morning. What were we trained on as children? Boys were trained one way, and I think girls were trained another. The things that boys played with, the kind of games boys played versus, in my generation, I'm 55, versus the games that girls played when I was a kid. My sisters all played with dolls. I have three younger sisters. They played with baby dolls. They had the tea sets. They had the easy bake ovens. They played domestic games. My sisters did.
I think that I actually think more about the games that the boys and the men played, because I really do believe that they prepared them for leadership. They prepared them for competition. They prepared them for teamwork.
I had army men and all of that. A lot of them. I always had army men, like little plastic army men, and I would strategically battle them out, which one could shoot from here and all that kind of stuff as a little boy. Sister Barbara says,
always be positive. So true, Brian. We are leaders. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're leaders in the home.
Yes.
Hey, Sheila. Good morning, Brother Mark. Hey, Anita.
Anita Washington Santiago. Good morning to you. She's a new friend of mine that I met through one of my, everything is new for me on Facebook, because even though I started Facebook in 2009, that May 31st of this year, I lost all of my Facebook. So I'm having to rebuild new groups, new people. And I'm building back better. And Sheila Washington, she's been so supportive of the posts that I make.
Anita Washington Santiago.
That's what I said, Anita Washington Santiago, because I have a Santiago too. Anita, my wife is Lisa Santiago McNeill. All of that is included.
Good morning,
but she's always
Sheila.
been positive on my posts. So welcome to the show.
Absolutely. So as we were talking about leadership, I think that it is important to understand that leadership is not dictatorship.
No diggity. We're going to go down that road right now. I want to submit this. Anita and Sheila and Mark Greer, good morning to you. When you hear the term or hear the word, it's almost a term, but you hear the word leadership, what comes to your mind? That, baby?
No, I wasn't going to say anything. I was listening for the point.
I just wanted to think about this while you're making your point. You were saying
leadership is not a dictatorship.
And go down that road. What do you mean?
Well, it's not. It's not just what I say or my way, the highway. Oftentimes, leadership is enhanced when there's an understanding of all of the contributors that could be affected in the process. Meaning that it's not just what is best for me, but it's what is best for us.
No doubt. I think you're right. Completely right. No caveats on that as well. It's not a dictatorship. I believe the days are long gone when you can lead by threat,
force
or fear of anything. Although many military people felt like that's the best way to lead soldiers, with fear, make them afraid. But I don't think that works anyplace else. Okay, it doesn't work in a household. Certainly doesn't work in a company, because today, look, you do it or you're fired.
See ya.
I'm not right now. We ain't got to go through all of that. I can just go now. Imagine someone saying that to you, Sheila. Do it my way or you're fired. Oh, that used to be, do it or you're fired. We used to have an acronym for that. Do it or you're fired. I used to use the acronym myself with my staff, and it was an acronym we used to use. But that was in the 90s. You can't do that anymore.
No, absolutely. I want to say thank you to guys, because we definitely have increased our reach over the last couple of days. I've been doing some review of the algorithms and the information as we are rebuilding. Once again, we want to remind you, we are rebuilding. The people that used to be here are not always here. And we're excited that you decided to be here and that you decided to interact with this broadcast so that we can interact with you, and so that your friends or family or other connections might be able to connect as well.
Brother Evan Jefferson's in the building.
ERGJ Black Bazaar is in the building. Look where preparation meets opportunity. We are preparing to get lucky, rich over the weekend opportunity.
Amen. Amen. This is a great resource here, this show. And Lisa's right. We've had 2 hits to our social media in successive years. Last year, Lisa lost all of the stuff, and most of the stuff was with her. And this year, I lost all my stuff. I have 4 groups with about 1,000 people each in them. 4 Facebook groups, and all of them are gone. Matter of fact, I got one of them. Because I had another person that's an admin in Florida, and I contacted her and added me back on as an admin. But the other 3 groups, they're still up. But the only officer of the company is me, and my old Brian McNeill is gone. So when I try to post to the Improve Your Sales Now forum on Facebook, your post has been submitted for admins for approval. Well, there's no other admin. It's gone, so I can't get anything.
Absolutely. Sheila says leadership is broken down in skills, behavior, and characteristics.
And Sheila also says we manage things and we lead people. Let's talk about that.
Absolutely. Hey, Kia, good morning.
I'm the manager. Okay, someone says that. They even have a title. They might even have a desk placard says manager on it. Okay, Sheila just submitted we manage things and we lead people.
Absolutely.
I think so many people got that conflated and confused.
Absolutely.
Good morning, Sister Kia. How you doing? Kia, when you hear the word leadership, what comes to your mind? Have you ever worked with or for a great leader? Have you ever?
Take me to your leader.
Follow me, I'm your leader.
Right.
That never works.
Where are you going? Are you going anywhere that I want to go? Have you inspired me to want to follow?
Wait for me, I'm the leader. Wait for me, I'm the leader. Oh, that means you're not the leader. John Maxwell he's built an empire around the concept of leadership. Brother Evan says,
a ship takes people to a destination.
Yes, a ship takes people to a destination. John Maxwell has built an empire around the concept of leadership.
Like partnership or relationship.
Yep. Now, in his book, Brother Ron, what's up? He says,
Ronnie,
great leaders lead by influence.
Absolutely.
We're going to go down that road too. But in John Maxwell's book, his big book, he's got lots of them, but one of the most famous books, early in the book, he tells the fact that he worked with two totally different type of leaders prepared him for his career. He had one leader who wanted to just go by the book. He was in the military and he wanted to go by the book, and he didn't want to take any chances, and he didn't want anybody to try anything, and he was just there to punch his ticket. He wanted to serve out this tour and get out of there. He didn't want anybody ruffling any feathers. He just wanted to do just what's by the book, period. Any deviation from the book was met with harsh punishment.
Yeah.
And the other leader he said he got so lucky with was the guy that got a kick out of you trying something and messing it up royally. It seemed to enthuse him when you tried something new and it ruined it, and it was terrible. And he used to take delight and tell me the story about why this messed up so bad. And the other guy wanted them to try different things at the company. So him seeing those two models really gave him what he considers a good comparison on how to lead.
Kia says, my general manager she is a very hands-on manager, just like a regular worker.
Yes.
And Kia says, I'm trying to be a manager now because of her leadership. Absolutely.
I'm trying to be a manager now because of her leadership. She's a model for you. In the classic book, The 1 Minute Manager in the 80s by Spencer Johnson and Ken Blanchard, became $1 million best-selling book, The 1 Minute Manager. And they do have a concept in the 1 Minute Manager. They call it management by walking around. Okay. Management by walking around. They felt the manager should be walking the factories. They felt the manager should be walking the office corridors, being seen and kind of catching the vibe of what's going on. You know, and to quote, oh man, he always misquotes stuff from old time baseball player, but his name's not important. He says, you can see a lot of things just by looking. You can observe a lot just by looking. Absolutely.
Evan says everybody is a leader. It's just a question of where you're taking your followers.
I believe that's true too, because I think I used to call it everyone's a teacher. Okay, let me tell you why I said that. Some people are teaching you what to do, and some people are teaching you what not to do. And Evan says everyone's a leader. So some people are maybe, and I don't want to put words in his mouth. It's just a question of where you're taking your followers.
Yeah.
So the homeless guy who holds a sign, he's a leader too, and from Evan's statement, and he's leading other people to be like him that want to do that kind of world. Correct?
I suppose. Barbara says you guys are great leaders, and I'm so grateful to listen to you guys each morning. Thanks. Well, we appreciate.
Well, let's go there too. Now, you said we are great leaders. You've never met us in person. And I believe we are. I think we are great leaders.
I've met Barbara.
Well, you've met Barbara, but why do you feel that way, Barbara? Why do you feel we're great leaders? Because of what you see on us every day? I think one of the characteristics that everyone notices in great leaders, and it's like a paramount, and it's also in the book called On Leadership by Warren Bennis. I read that book too. It was impactful in my life. On Leadership by Warren Bennis. And Warren Bennis says one of the major characteristics of being a leader is consistency. Consistency. And he describes the kind of consistency he's talking about is the people around you, do they have an idea of how you would respond or how you would think about a circumstance? So if you've been a consistent leader and someone shows up, even if the leader's not around, and someone else shows up late for work, boy, if Lisa was here, you wouldn't be able to get away with that because they have an idea.
Predictable.
Consistency, yes.
Brother Mark says,
I'm going to read this in the stylings of Mr. Mark Greer. Actually, I'm going to read up the top. He says, leadership is not only what you say, it's what you do. As a leader, you have to be a connector, a visionary, a standard, and an inspiring force. You cannot truly lead by fear, but you can be destroyed by that fear. A leader will follow when it is necessary and lead when it is required.
Absolutely.
I read that in the stylings of Mr. Mark Greer.
Absolutely. Sister Sheila says the empowerment duo consistency is unmatched. Well, we appreciate that.
Thank you for saying so. I really appreciate that. And she's right. Since October of 2016, we have done this show Monday through Friday since October of 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. We're in our 7th year of doing this show Monday through Friday with Lisa on my left. We have moved in different homes since that time. We've had different backgrounds, 100 different backgrounds.
Good morning, William
but
Brown.
We have done it Monday through Friday.
Evan says one can lead by fear. Happens all the time. Share an example of leading by fear.
Well, can it be the case today? Because some of the stuff that used to work, I find unworkable today.
Good morning, Dr. Beverly.
William Brown is definitely a leader. William Brown is a leader. He has leadership qualities. He's another one of those people that every circumstance he goes to, they want to put him in leadership. He could join a club, a Toastmasters club, and within 2 or 3 meetings, his leadership is noticed, and we got to make him the president.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Sister Barbara says because you are consistent and positive.
Amen. Thank you, Sister Barbara. Thank you very much. Leadership, Dr. Beverly. Good morning, Dr. Beverly. What do you think about when you hear the idea or the thought of leadership? What do you mean? What does it mean to you?
Sister Sheila said, I'm guessing you were on when we were not able to find you online due to technology snafu. Absolutely. We were still here. We just won. We're just each other. We were here. We were maintaining the consistency.
Sheila, you brought to my remembrance just now technology snafus. In the early years of this show, 2016, 2017, we had horrible technical issues. A lot of blurry screens, a lot of short stuff. The show started out as a 15-minute show. We was meeting Monday through Friday, but at first it was only a 15-minute show. Okay. And then we just come on and say something positive and go on with our day. And then our friend Damona DeBrew, who's a regular here, she's like, look, man, we need you guys on for at least a half an hour. And she wouldn't let it go. She just kept beating on us with it. So we moved to a half an hour.
Absolutely.
Because of Damona's bulldoggedness. And then Damona says, look, because we started accumulating the audience. When we moved to 30 minutes, we started accumulating our audience then. And then Damona was like, look, we just get going and you guys are leaving. You got to go to at least an hour. And we decided to go to an hour, but we promised never longer than an hour. Never. Not ever. 1 hour is as much as we're going to ever do.
Leadership is the topic. Why is leadership important?
I think leadership is important. It's one in my classic book, 932, and I'm going to get it in a moment, of the 3 most important skills of life. The 3 most important skills of life, and none of them is more important than the other, but I think they are all the most important skills. The ability to communicate as a skill, in all facets of communication: speaking, listening, comprehending, questioning, and written. All those different aspects of ways you communicate. It's a paramount skill of life. It has a lot to do with how far you go. The ability to sell. Can you persuade another to your way of thinking? Can you get something in exchange for something? I think the ability to sell is one of the critical skills of life. It has more to do with your happiness or sadness, prosperity or poverty than anything else. And then the third one is the ability to lead. And I'm not talking about just leading others, but leading yourself, leading your household, leading the sphere of influence that you have right now. Can you take lead? Evan brought this up earlier. Can you take lead over your money accumulation?
Barbara says, I'm glad I joined with the hour show. Amen. We're glad too. And Sheila says, go. Oh, Stephanie Morris, good morning. Good morning, Empowerment Family. She says, and 4 hearts. Amen. I take all 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you. Evan said, leaders should not exercise authority over people.
Okay.
Instead, whoever wants to become great must lower himself to be a servant.
Thank you for submitting that. And Lisa mentioned it earlier. To be a great leader, you got to be a great follower. You got to lead it all. You got to be a follower. I'm going to tell you why that's true. Okay. Because nobody on earth, or another reason why that's true. There's a lot of reasons why that's true. But it's not the only reason why it's true. But another reason why it's true is because you don't know enough by yourself. You haven't seen enough. You haven't experienced enough. No person has. We all need mentorship, and we all need to take the direction of somebody else. No one has ever achieved great levels of success in anything, not in business, not in sports, not in music, not in the arts, not in anything, without having taken some mentorship, some coaching, some direction. We all need it. All of us need it. You need a great coach to be a great player, which means you have to be willing to submit to someone else's authority and follow someone else's lead. Follow someone else's lead. Sincere Newman, good morning to you.
Good morning. Sister Barbara says, I can't wait to read 932 with the girls. Amen.
Oh, I love that I want to make that a freaking campaign. The picture of Barbara Mosley and her nephew and granddaughters. She's holding a picture of my book 932. I got to go get it. Good morning, Sincere Newman. Sincere Newman is a leader.
Amen.
She's definitely a leader.
William Brown says, I've expanded my understanding on leadership to include myself. I ran away from my leadership because too many times I thought it was just about only leading people. Absolutely. I think that my pastor, Pastor Dunlap, was utilizing tremendous leadership in appointing other leaders. See, he had a lot of structure associated with how we ran the church, but there were leaders. There were leaders over the kitchen department, there were leaders over the youth department, leaders over the audio video department, leaders over all the different things, the music department, and he would defer to those leaders while at the same time maintaining a governance over them.
Which is my style. His style was participatory, which was my style too. This is the book I was talking about, 932, the 9 most important words, the 3 most important skills, and the 2 most important questions. Now, I wrote this book with an age range of 8 to 18 in mind. That's what I was thinking of. But I find it has applications for me, and I'm 55. Okay? And so it works for every age. I want you to get this book, and I'm going to tell you why I want you to get it. One is I think you can share it with your children and grandchildren, 932. Because it's a father teaching his daughter principles about character and life that's going to help her be more successful. But the other reason why I want you to get this book is because Lisa and I have decided with every purchase that comes through our site. Now, you can get it on Amazon if you want to, but I can't do this for the Amazon purchases. Please put up the link. But every purchase that comes through our site, either through the Empowerment Duo or virtualsalesmgr.com, we will donate a copy to an educator, to a teacher. For every one purchased, we're going to give one to a teacher. The dedication of this book is to teachers, everyone that believes is important for the rearing of our next generation. So we want to donate more books, but in order for us to donate more books, we need you to get our book. Absolutely. We only have a few teachers that have gotten them already, but we want more. So, and I promise you, you'll think it's a good book.
And if you have a teacher in mind, please, please, please let us know so we can add them to the list and make sure that they get a copy as well. Katura says, I always say that to be the best leader, you should always be a great follower as well.
Amen. She's right.
Absolutely. And Barbara says, I got you, Brian. Yes, we did, Lisa. Yes, we did. Absolutely. Sheila Gothard said, I added your book to my resource list.
To my leadership class.
To my leadership class. Amen.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Katura says, absolutely, Lisa.
Thank you for adding me to the resource list to your leadership class. I think they'll find it as a good tool.
Absolutely.
Sheila. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Katura says, absolutely, Lisa. He was a great visionary. He orchestrated RCM. Our success was, I just lost it. Our success was up to everyone. Absolutely.
Yes.
The
our
music
success
department, the
was
dance
up
department,
to
it was up to everyone.
Amen.
And it was a collaborative effort.
Sister Barbara Moses says, yes, 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 Brian. It is for all ages. Dr. Beverly says,
leadership is teamwork to the point where others are watching. No one knows who is the leader. Leadership is an honor. Parenting is leadership.
That is an honor to learn. While you are teaching / leading little people to their paths of victory. Leadership is of self, is the art of commitment, of doing better and submission to someone that has your best interest at heart. The empowerment duo show family and resilience to keep going no matter what. Please scroll to the bottom.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Dr. Beverly, for your submission. My eyes quit about halfway through.
That's okay. Brother Mark Greer says, Jesus was / is the greatest example of a leader. He didn't tell you what he did. Others told you what he did and what he said. 12 guys followed him, and the message was heard around the world.
Absolutely.
Ultimately, that message led to a huge part of the world following him.
Absolutely.
You're absolutely right. Shirley's in the house. Good morning, Shirley.
Good morning, Shirley. Good morning,
Shirley. What do you think about the word leadership? What comes around that word for you? Leadership. One of the best managers I had was I went to school for hotel restaurant management, and I got a job at Courtyard by Marriott. And the general manager of this property is a guy named Steve Ransone. Steve had a wonderful staff, and everybody loved working for him, and so did I. Because Steve never told anybody to do anything. He only asked. He asked people, would you do? He would say stuff like, would it be convenient for you if you did such and such? Okay. Or would you mind doing this? Or when you get time, can you do such and such? Now, we've learned when he says, would it be convenient for you when you get time? That meant do it now. But he would never say do it now. He would always ask, would you mind? Or would it be convenient for you? Or what was this? And if you screwed up, like I screwed up one time, and he was very angry with me behind my back. Okay. He was very angry with me because I was the front desk supervisor. And it was late one night. There was a band performing, and the artist came, and it was a known artist, at least locally known. And they had some repute. And he needed a night. His reservation wasn't right. He's not the guy that had the card, and some manager had the card. He talked, and I believed him, and I believed they would pay the next day. And I let him stay that night. And they did pay the next day. But the next morning, Steve was furious. But he called me in his office right away as soon as I got in. And he was angry. Everybody told me how angry he was. But he didn't fuss at me. He asked me, what happened last night, Brian? Tell me about it. And I told him the story. And then he's like, oh, good. I'm glad. Okay, thank you. No problems. And then he understood it. But he didn't get at me like that until he heard the story. He wanted to hear me out, but he was angry at first.
Well, that's an example to be remembered. That sometimes the conclusion that you jump to without all of the information. The conclusion that you jump to without all of the information actually might not be the right one. Exactly.
Barbara says, amen, Mark. Amen. Mark is right. Good morning. Yes, Sister Shirley. Shirley, I want your thoughts too. Leadership. I'm going to go back. Dr. Bell said leadership is teamwork to the point. My management style is participatory. I want to get other opinions, but I'm going to make the final decision. That's how I manage. That's my style. Okay. Some people who don't understand following, for example, they will interpret if you ask them something and they give you their opinions and you don't take their opinions, that means either you didn't hear them at all or you're not listening to them. Very often I did listen, but I decided this direction was where we're going to go.
Sheila says some people don't. Shirley says I think some people don't need to be leaders, especially in the military.
Most of the time, you're right. Who becomes leaders in the military is the guys that stick around longest and stay out of trouble the most.
Sister Sheila, that's actually one of the mantras that we live by. Seek first to understand
before being understood. That's why none of our arguments ever last any length of time at all. Lisa and I can argue and it'll be over in moments and minutes because we both are trying to understand why does the other person feel that way? Mm-hmm. How could she possibly draw that conclusion? Let me see how she came to that place. Let me try to understand why she feels that way. And I know Lisa's doing the same thing. How can he be so adamant and staunch on a bad idea or a bad opinion like that? What was he coming from? What was he thinking? Because we are committed. That's a tenet of our marriage. We're committed to seek first to understand before being understood. I think that helps a lot.
Absolutely.
And that shows up more often than you can think.
It actually shows up most of the time.
Yeah.
Most of the time. Because there are so many things that we have now realized. I don't know if we just realized it with each other. I don't know if we realize it just due to age and experience. But there are more things that are miscommunicated or misunderstood unintentionally.
Yeah.
Simply because of an experience, a previous experience, or whatever the case may be, a interpretation is just not right.
Sister Stephanie Marr says,
leadership is also serving the people who you lead, giving them clear direction and support so that you can be aligned and successful in your cause, business, etc.
Major point, Stephanie. So I think Evan and maybe somebody else brought up earlier, the leader has to be able to communicate the vision.
Absolutely.
The vision. This is what I see. This is where we're going. We're building this to do this. Apple Computer was an example of that. Their leader of Apple Computer was able to articulate the vision, and they created what's called they call them, I can't remember, but they had a word for it.
You want to finish your thought?
No, go ahead.
The one example of leadership, I guess it could be called leadership. It was actually it's an image that stays with me from a movie that I saw a million years ago. James Bond, the one with Halle Berry in it.
Great movie.
When they were on the top of the rock.
Okay.
And he simply says, you gotta jump.
Yeah.
Now, I'm thinking in terms of what if you're with a leader that you don't trust? That has always been to me a tenement of great leadership, because he didn't have time to explain why it was a good idea for you to jump. When I say jump, he didn't understand how even level set. I mean, he didn't have time we don't have no time.
That's circumstantial leadership.
Absolutely. Okay. But circumstantial leadership cannot exist if there has not been a basis of trust already established.
Well, going back to the military example, in a battle, you don't have time to establish trust. They have a hierarchy. This guy's the sergeant. Sergeant means you're in charge of troops. You got to do what the sergeant, and they train you in what's called basic training to what's called execute. Okay, we're in a battle. George Washington was the guy who came up with this in American military. He's not the first one to do it, but this thing called drill and ceremonies, D&C. How do I move a large group of men from here to there? So I had to learn how to put them in formation and march. I'd be a row of 4 people and then ranks behind them. Okay, and then you have left, right, left. Those things evolve. How do I get them to move uniformly? If I want them to get on the other side of that hill, how can I hey guys, go on the other side of the hill? And it could be all over the place. How can I get this thing so they would practice how to move the troops? That's what it is. And in the military, you don't have time. I got in so much trouble in basic training, but they beat that out of me quick. Okay, they beat it out of me within weeks.
Victoria says listening to understand is the key. Absolutely. Listening and comprehending is key. I think trust is definitely in many, many situations, particularly life or death, or even in household situations, there has to be a level of trust that you can't. Some of these things you can't know why right now. You have to have enough historical trust, enough opportunities to have gained or grown trust, that by the time we get to this situation, you have to just trust what I said.
I think you're right, but I'm going to put you in this precarious spot. Okay. Now let's watch how this happens. Okay. Your husband's been gone all day. Okay. And you put yourself and say, your husband, Couture, has been gone all day. Your mate has been gone all day. And then your mate, I'm taking it off of me and Lisa, because I don't know if that'd be fair to put that on camera with her. I'm taking it off of us. But your mate has been gone all day. And then they come home all excited. Says, baby, I just was at this conference all day. I was at the seminar and I saw this business opportunity and I think it's going to be great. So I want to take all of our money out of our bank accounts, all of the accounts. I want to take all of our money and I want to invest in this. And we have to do it today by 4:00. Okay, so we got to do it today because they're going to move to the next city and I want to be in charge of this city. So we got to do it all now, baby. Now, how would you handle that? How would you handle that? Would your mate said that to you?
It depends.
Oh, okay. It depends on what?
I think it depends. It depends on, historically, has he been...
Okay, flighty like that or what?
What?
No, go ahead.
Has he historically been one to be impetuous, or is he typically dogmatic in his approach? And
that's an interesting thought.
Yeah.
Because you had to pull on history first.
Right.
Historically, has this person been that way? Okay.
Yeah, because if he's been impetuous, then I can just pump the brakes. I try to not. It's important for me not to say, remember when this didn't, and remember when that didn't, and remember when this didn't, right? So it's important to remember that every new opportunity deserves its own chance, right? So
that's another beautiful point.
I think so. I think that it's important not to color every opportunity with the previous opportunity that may simply have had timing or any other situations that could have compelled it not to work. But in all honesty, it would depend on how passionate he was about that thing. And sometimes you just got to figure it out on the way.
That's an amazing answer, baby. That's way better than what I thought would come out your mouth right there, but that was a better answer. Brother Mark Greer submits, gotta run. But wanted to give some flowers before I bounce. I don't recall how I got to viewing the Empowerment Duo. It seems I just popped in on one day. Nevertheless, unbeknownst to me at the time, that pop in would last over a year. I pride myself on being acquainted with quality people. To you, Brian and Lisa, you are two of the most high quality people I know and have ever met.
Aww.
Paths cross for a reason. Stars align for a reason. Meeting outstanding people happens for a reason. Kudos to you. Mark, first off, Mark, thank you.
Amen. Thank you.
Wait a minute. Kudos. There was more. Kudos to you both for simply being who you are to so many people. Continue to let your combined lights brighten this world.
We appreciate you.
That means a lot coming from Mark, because I know Mark for over a year now, and he's all integrity. He's all truths and truisms. And he don't say stuff he don't believe. He just don't. He'll pick at Jay Mattier. They're going to go back and forth. But when he say something, he mean what he say. Mark, I love that thought. Thank you very much, sir, for that.
Amen.
Mark has told us the story about the first time he met us. He met me. The first time was at a Toastmasters meeting a couple of years before he found the show. Mm-hmm. And I tried to meet him, and he met me, but he didn't feel like he met me right. He didn't feel like he gave me enough. And when he reflects back on it, he says, I should have gave you a little bit more of my energy at the time, Brian.
That's okay.
Yep.
Sister Barbara says, I would say, what? Is this legit? Sincere says, awesomely powerful. Amen.
Yes. You
Amen.
guys, Mark has highlighted it a couple of times today. The strength of this show is you guys.
Amen.
We say it all the time. This show does not work at all without your contributions.
Absolutely. Sister Barbara says, yes, I have to trust my leader. Shirley DeJeanette Wyatt says, leadership for women in the Army is so hard when you're always questioned by male leaders. I would presume that to be true.
It is true. And I felt for the other women soldiers when I was in the Army. I was in Army aviation, and typically the ratio male to female was like 1 to 300. Okay, 1 woman soldier to every 300 men.
Wow.
And I felt how difficult that must be. But also, and then sometimes it wasn't quite that much. Sometimes it was like 1 to every 100 men. But it was still a significant.
That's still a lot.
Yes.
Sister Barbara says, Brian, Proverbs 12:16 says, fools show annoyance at once, but the prudent overlook an insult. Be calm when you react.
Thank you for that submission. Proverbs 12:16 says, fools show annoyance at once. That is foolish. But that's a thing that we often do foolishly. I have done it myself foolishly many a time, but I'm getting better at it. But the prudent overlook an insult. Be calm when you react.
That's definitely interesting. And definitely, I think that waiting to understand everything that's going on before you react is definitely imperative.
I've told the story on here before. I'm going to tell it real quickly because Lisa's finding her quote of the day. My friend Thomas, who passed away last year, was my best friend as an adult, other than my wife. There was a time where I had a minivan and a car, and he was moving, and he wanted to borrow the minivan to help him to move. And he said, could he have it for a couple of hours, is what he asked me for. So I let him borrow my minivan with the idea for a couple of hours. And he was gone 6 hours with it, okay, or more. And couldn't answer his phone or whatever. And then I was getting angrier and angrier that he had my minivan moving and stuff, and I can't reach him and all that kind of stuff. This is before cell phones the way we have them now. I don't think he even had a cell phone at the time. But I couldn't reach him, and I was so angry. By the time he showed up, I'm ready to kick his ass. By the time he shows up, I'm angry. As soon as I see him, he comes to my door with a big old smile on his face and the keys in his hand. Hey, Brian, how you doing? I just let him have it both barrels. Get my damn keys. You said you had my van all damn day. And he didn't respond. He just, sorry, and backed up and left. He apologized. And then the next day, I had to see him at work. And he says, look, he came into my office and sat down. He says, look, I borrowed your van for a lot longer than I said I would. But I was moving, and I had people there to help me. And I could have left them there to the house and try to bring your van back right away, but I needed to show them what I wanted them to do, and I decided to take advantage of the help. I needed them to assemble the beds and all that kind of stuff. So I wanted to be there while they was putting all the furniture together, and I got the van, and I felt terrible.
You should. You should. You should.
I felt terrible because that made sense to me.
Absolutely.
Take advantage of the help you got them while they're there.
Absolutely. I had that conversation yesterday with one of my newest clients at AA. Shout out to him, Alexis Gumbeans. We're actually excited to be working on his project. But he was actually sharing with me a story about how he was frustrated and actually called someone, considered someone lazy and unresponsive because he texted them and they didn't text back in the same day.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody texts back in the same day. Your phone is in your hand. Why you can't text back? And the thing is, some people don't. Some people still don't. Some people still don't immediately respond. Some people want to consider what you said. And what I shared with them actually is a scenario that you and I often have. Brian and I sleep right next to each other. We're husband and wife.
Yeah. Okay.
But Brian often will get up in the morning or in the evening before he goes to sleep, and he'll send me a text. Now, I have my phone on Do Not Disturb from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m.
I'll get an idea, and I'll capture it by sending it to my wife.
Absolutely. And I don't mind that. As long as in my mind, I I don't have it until I have it. So then at 7 o'clock when I get up, I go to starting my day, saying my prayers, fixing my face, doing all of those things. None of them include touching my phone.
And then I say, did you see my message? How could you not see the message back? I sent you two. Oh.
And he gets livid.
Not livid.
That I have not responded. But the truth of the matter is, it's simply not of interest to me. I don't want it to break into my morning. I don't want it to derail me with what might be on there.
But that could be an area for me. Oh my gosh, look at the time. We got to do the thought and the songs. But that could be an area for me, not being paid attention to or not listening to. Could be an area for me.
It is.
So let's go. We got.
Oh, it is.
Okay.
That is.
Okay.
Today's thought for today is coming from the Faith Moves Mountain little book that I have. Optimism is the faith that leads to achievement. Mm-hmm. Nothing can be done without hope or confidence. And I'm going to tell you that's very, very true. Actually, one of my coaches I talked to yesterday, Evan Jefferson, amen, he was fully aware of what we were working on, but he had to re-level set because my belief was not equal with the task. Because you first got to believe that we can do it or I'm wasting your time.
Okay.
And so I'm grateful that I have a wise coach like that.
We're going to do our greeting songs and greeting logos. Sincere Newman, we got to find you a jam because you deserve one. Barbara Mosley, she cooks here. She cooks there. Barbara Mosley cooks everywhere. Up next was Sister Sheila Goffin. She's got a song.
Sheila. Storms are brewing in her eyes.
Oh. Talk to your man. It's your boy in the building. ERGJ Evan Jefferson's in the building. How you doing, my brother?
That's right. The chip is here. The chip is here. Every kiss begins with K.
What's up, Ron? My little brother, Ron. That's my brother right there. My real little brother.
Amen.
Mark Greer has a jam too, and it goes, so wide you can't get around it.
So low you can't get under a hat.
So high you can't get over it. Mark Greer is under a groove. He's getting down just for the funk of it. Mark Greer is under a groove. Nothing can stop us now. William Brown has a jam too, and William Brown's song goes like this. Good morning to our friend Bill.
Nobody thinks like him still.
We love him so, and we always will. Our friend Bill. Dr. Beverly has a logo and it goes, Dr. Beverly is on the show. Good morning, Dr. Beverly. I know Stephanie said let homegirl have the song, but until we get you another one, Stephanie.
Life has new meaning to me.
There is beauty up above and things we never take notice of. You wake up and Stephanie, you're in love.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Katura Green has a jam as well, and it goes, back to life, back to Katura Green.
However do you want it?
However do you need it?
Do you need it?
That's right. Sincere Newman, I want to find you a jam because you deserve one. Sincere Newman, something. A song that speaks to your spirit or a genre of music, maybe we can find one for you.
Absolutely.
And we got all the greeting songs? Good.
Yes, we got it.
What's a greeting song? A greeting song is someone that's been supporting the show by making comments or been rocking with the show for a long time. We like to thank you with a greeting song or a greeting logo. A lot of you guys have earned them just because of your wonderful, consistent contributions. What's a contribution? A contribution is saying hi or any comment.
Hey, hi, good morning, contributing on the topic, or even one of your emojis.
We do want you to make reactions, please. I don't know if it's still the case where it used to be, but the more reactions, like and love and all that kind of stuff.
The algorithms pick up and share with your page as well. As a matter of fact, yesterday's interactions were so good. We appreciate you so much.
Today was good too.
I'm talking about the actual results from the show were tremendous. I'm gonna share them with Brian once we get
What do you mean the results from the show? Like what?
I'll share it with you.
because I can't explain it right now.
Okay. Dr. Carolyn Stevens, good morning. Oh, are you still in Greece right now? No. I think she's. Good morning, Brian and Lisa.
Good morning, Sister Carolyn. Thank you for joining us this morning.
That's Dr. Carolyn Stevens.
Doctor, sister, doctor.
We have us a joke going between us two about whether to call her Carolyn or Doctor, and who gets to call her by her name and who has to call her Doctor.
I get it.
I get it too.
I get
it too, and I love all of that. Thank you again for joining us. It's 9:48. We're doing pretty good on time today. This show's called Let's Talk About It. If you didn't know, her name is Lisa Santiago McNeill.
That's right. And he is Brian K. McNeill.
And together we make up what we call the Empowerment Duo. The Empowerment Duo, we have the purpose of the show is personal conversations,
business information,
and spiritual inspiration.
With a little bit of shenanigans thrown in.
Together we have an expressed ministry. And our ministry is
economic independence
through
entrepreneurship.
That's it. That's what we do. That's what we're about. DASSIT. That's it. One of my favorite words. That's it. All right. So thank you again for joining us on our show.
We appreciate you joining this morning. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow for Shout It Out Friday.
Friday is Shout It Out Friday. Come prepared to shout it out.
Prepared to share everything.
Shout out your links, your books, your causes, your events. You can shout out all that stuff tomorrow.
And we look forward to sharing it with the audience. We will see you tomorrow. And don't forget to have sex.
Hey.